G1 Climax 30 kicked off today, and might I say, I thought this was a fairly good show. I wouldn't say it was anything that was completely mind-blowing. It was nice to see a lot of these guys back that we haven't seen in New Japan in the last, few months. So that was really good. Who won these matches, and what was the best match of the night? We're going to find that out in just a few moments. I feel like there's probably no intro to this video, so if there isn't, then hey, what is up, you guys? It is your boy Tyler-kun Williams, aka Tyler Mask, aka Tyler Suplex, aka the one who lived, and welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel, and welcome to our first G1 Climax 30 review, completely copyright free. Leave me the hell alone, TBSIE. There's nothing you can find here. No imagery, no audio, no video, just your boy and probably some text around here. So, today was the start of G1 Climax 30. It was day 1, A block. We had 5 matches in here and 1 Young Lions match, which I'll start off with. The first match we had was Yota Tsuji versus Yuya Uemura. It was a nice opening match, I thought that they had a nice back and forth. I would say that though I really like seeing these two, I think I enjoy the Shota Umino versus Random Reader matches just a little bit more, but I might have a bit of a bias because those are my sons, those are my kids. But Yota Tsuji and Uemura, they had a nice little 5-6 minute match that ended with Yota Tsuji getting the submission win over Yuya with his Lion Tamer. He had a submission and he had the Boston Crab locked in the first like 10 seconds. And then he transitioned into a Lion Tamer and got the submission victory. So Yota Tsuji winning this match, just a nice little tongue coater for everyone here. I'm surprised they didn't do any tag matches on this show. I thought this probably would have been the slot where they got a tag match in, because normally with New Japan shows, they tend to always get in at least one tag match that will segue us into the next day. And given that day 2 is the start of B block, I figured we get maybe like a Tanahashi and Naito versus, I don't know, Evil and Kenta, something like that. That'd be a nice match to start off with, but I'm not complaining at all. So then we had to get into the start of the tournament. First match we had here was William Ospreay versus Yujiro Takahashi. It was a fine match. I guess the biggest note everybody came into this was that Will Ospreay was actually in the tournament. If you guys did not know, Will Ospreay had some controversy going on earlier in the year with the speaking out movement. That was the period of time with a lot of wrestling fans and wrestlers were coming out with their stories of sexual harassment, abuse, along the like in the pro wrestling industry. And a wrestler by the name of Pollyanna, I believe her name was, she came forward with some details regarding Will Ospreay getting her blacklisted from the wrestling business because, well, she exposed her, I guess, her sexual abuser. Will Ospreay didn't like that and spoke to some people to get her to not get booked anymore. Very scummy thing. I mean, Will Ospreay didn't sexually assault anybody, to my knowledge, but very scummy, disgusting thing Will Ospreay committed. There's a lot of people who do not like Will Ospreay anymore. They're completely against them, and I completely see where they're coming from to not be on his side anymore. Where I stand, I don't consider myself a Will Ospreay fan. I really never have. I always appreciate his match, though. He was a great wrestler. I've never just been a Will Ospreay fan because, I don't know, the way he conducts himself out, I don't know. There's something about Will Ospreay that I just couldn't find myself to call myself a fan of his work. And that was before all this happened. This just kind of made me, like, definitely can't call myself a fan of his work. I hate the whole separate the artist from the art type of thing. So when I get into these wrestling matches with a lot of these wrestlers, like, and I'm going to name drop some people who have allegations against them, like, a Matt Riddle or a Velveteen Dream or a David Starr, and you watch their matches, like, I'm not like repulsed watching their matches, but you just get the sense of, like, I can only watch from like an arm's length. You know what I mean? I can only enjoy it but so much. Like, I can still find a way to enjoy these matches, but I can't find myself cheering for Will Ospreay. I can't find myself, really getting into all of his off. Like, it just harkens a lot of my enjoyment of his act during these matches, and that goes for everybody who was in the speaking out movement. So I can find a way to, like, watch these wrestlers and just be okay with it. Like, not you guys know what I meant. Like, be okay with the performance, not okay with the wrestlers, what they did. So, that being said, getting into this match, Will Ospreay versus Yujiro Takahashi, it was fine. I mean, I didn't expect anything incredibly dynamic between these two men because it's Yujiro Takahashi, and I don't want to take, you know, shots at Yujiro because it's not like he's a atrocious wrestler or anything, but there's really nothing about him that I've seen, at least, that really comes out as this guy has it, or this guy can possibly be a big thing in New Japan if they just get behind him, if they just give him that little push, if they just get, like, there's nothing about Yujiro. He has a good gimmick, and I love St. Peter, but there's nothing about him that really comes out and makes you want to see him wrestle. Like, it's nice to see Yujiro wrestle, but I'd never ask for a Yujiro Takahashi match, if that makes sense. Will Ospreay is a wrestler who I think we can all say is very incredibly diverse and very agile, athletic, and he can, for the most part, hold his own a lot in these matches. In this one, I think he held his own pretty well, but given that Yujiro, his offense really just wasn't on par with Will Ospreay, it just didn't have a good balance, and I guess it turned out to be a pretty mediocre match, honestly. And it was Will Ospreay's first match back. You know, I'm not expecting him to have some complete blowaway, but, you know, it was just it was a match that kind of was there, you know. It was. I think if you didn't catch this match, you didn't miss anything. Will Ospreay hit a Stormbreaker onto Yujiro, got the pin. Yahoo. After the match, Will Ospreay hopped on the microphone, and Twitter lost their goddamn mind that this man hopped on the microphone and started speaking. And I just rolled my eyes. I'm just like, really? And he had the nerve. Now, I think why people lost their minds on Twitter is not because they gave him the mic, but because of the way he conducted himself. That's why I came back to the way he conducts himself. This guy hops on a mic and he's speaking like he's been held back. He was a caged animal. And, you know, we're all going through the pandemic. We're all going through COVID and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we all felt like, you know, we're locked in our houses and, you know, locked down. Like, we all had that experience. Some more than others, depending on the country you live in. But we all had that experience. But given the allegations against him, it just did not bode well in what he was saying. Especially the one quote I put down, which is, "There's nothing to be nervous about because I'm Will Ospreay." And I said, wow, that is in poor taste. But I guess he's just ignoring everything going on with him right now, and I guess that's really all you can do when you're confident that you did nothing wrong. Because it's not like he ever denied his allegations. He just act like he did nothing wrong. So that was that. Will Ospreay won the match. It was there. It happened. So let's move on to our next match as the train passes by outside. Hopefully you guys can't hear it too loudly. We get into our next match, Taichi, Lower Taichi, versus Jeff Cobb. It's a never match you'd expect from both men. You know, they had their strikes, mostly the kicks from Taichi, his loud kicks, and he did his pan trip during the match, which got no pop from the crowd, which is a little disappointing, not gonna lie. And Jeff Cobb with his heavy elbows, and I feel like Jeff Cobb has really become the replacement for what Michael Elgin was in New Japan for so many years. And, you know, I got into New Japan kind of late. You know, I knew about New Japan in 2015, watched the matches here and there up until 2018 when I really started watching the product. So I really didn't get a huge consumption of Michael Elgin New Japan matches, but from what I saw, that guy was really goddamn good. And he had some great matches. And Jeff Cobb, I felt like, really fits in that position, except that Jeff Cobb is just slightly more Jeff Cobb is more agile. He can do more, you know. The dude can bust out a shooting star press, and he can bust out sentons and dives. He's more versatile than Michael Elgin. Let me put it that way. And I do feel like there's some better quality matches I've seen from Jeff Cobb than I have from Michael Elgin. Now, that is also because I've seen more Jeff Cobb matches than I have Michael Elgin, but that's besides the point. They had a match last year, Taichi and Jeff Cobb did. I thought that was a fairly good match. This one I feel like is probably on the same level. I don't know if I would say it was better. I had to watch that match back over again. But this is definitely nothing, I would say it's nothing you should skip over. If it's there and you're watching, just right on by. Keep it going with this match, you know. Let it play in the background, you know. Watch it if you have time. That's how I feel about it. Final few minutes of the match is where things really started to shine bright. You know, that's how a lot of these New Japan matches are. Both men got their fighting spirit spots, and ultimately it was Lord Taichi with his reverse crescent kick. I really badly want to call it a super kick, but I feel so dirty. I feel so dirty saying that Taichi did a super kick. So I call it a reverse crescent kick, because that's, I think, what Jim Ross or some commentator back in the day used to call Shawn Michaels' Sweet Chin Music a reverse crescent kick. So that's what I call Taichi's a super kick. So he hits a reverse crescent kick, and then he turns that into his air raid siren, which I believe he calls that Black Mephisto. And he gets the pin over Jeff Cobb. Taichi getting 2 points. Like I said, I thought this was a decent match, better than the last match, definitely. But I wouch say it was really match of the night or anything. Moving on, we then get into the next Never match, which was Tomohiro Ishii versus Minoru Suzuki. And I don't think anybody ever doubted the agility and just the straight fire that these men were going to bring to the ring, and boy, did they bring it. I mean, it was what you would expect from these two men. It was, I mean, they start off, as soon as the bell rung, they started off with the elbows and the chops. I mean, it was glorious. Let me just say that, it was glorious. Now, it wasn't match of the year quality or anything, but for what it was worth, I enjoyed this match. I feel like anybody who watches can enjoy this match. You have a lot of wrestling fans nowadays who watch New Japan mainly for the stiff strikes. That's what New Japan's known for. This is the company you can watch for the better matches and the full contact strikes, and this is where it's at. I saw a lot of Minoru Suzuki really showing off that though I'm 50 years old, I could still move like I'm 30. Like, I remember, I think it was Ishii was in the corner, and Minoru Suzuki went to go to the rope, and like, I don't think Ishii like lifted him up, but Minoru just kind of hopped over the top rope, and then Ishii tried to strike him, and then he locked in that almost like cross arm bar over the rope. Like, Minoru Suzuki's just insanely gifted, and he has been since he started wrestling, but like the fact that he's kept so consistently going into the age of 53 is just completely astonishing to me. And Ishii is absolutely no slouch. Ishii is, of course, one of the greatest New Japan wrestlers of all time, and just his body of work. And even though he's not, how do I put this? Even though Ishii is not incredibly, you know, very, what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't have a varied moveset like Ishii ain't coming out here busting out hurricanranas and shit. I mean, he does every once in a blue moon. But he ain't coming out here busting out all these different moves. Like, I feel like there's an Ishii format you can easily see, you can easily look for, and you'll enjoy it every single time no matter what. And it just works. And this match, it started off with strikes and submission holds and transitioned into suplexes, and it was just really good. And by the end stretch, I loved the hell out of this finish. By the way, if you see me looking over here, I'm looking at my notes, so please don't mind me. So the finish came when Ishii was going for his brainbuster. Suzuki, he rolled out like in the middle of the brainbuster. He kind of comes down, rolls underneath of Ishii. It caused Ishii to, you know, by virtue, roll with him. He gets back up to his feet and gets him in position for the Got-style pile driver and hits it. It was like the smoothest transition I've seen for the Got-style pile driver in a long time. And Minoru Suzuki gets the pin off of that. And that was, I don't know much more you can say. It was a really good match. I enjoyed it, and I would definitely say it was one of the better matches of the night. Arguably, maybe the best. I have to see. I think the next match might give it a run for its money. And that next match is Jay White versus Shingo Takagi. They had a match last year in G1 Climax. I don't really remember that match being all that good. I remember it being good, but I don't remember it being all that good. I would say this is better than last year's match. It was a step above. Jay White versus Shingo is always a really interesting matchup because their styles are pretty much different. Shingo is the never guy. I mean, I hate calling him that, but that's the position he's in. He's the stiff striker. He's way faster than your average, you know, Goto, Suzuki, or Ishii. Look no further than his match at Ospreay BOSJ last year. And then you have Jay White, who's very slow and meticulous and very what's calculated in his moves, and it made for a really great dynamic that these two had in this match, and I really enjoyed it. There was one spot in here from Jay White that I love, and it's a classic Jay White move that you don't see many other wrestlers aside from Jay White do. So you have this sequence in here where Shingo is starting to bounce back. Jay White's been chopping him and taunting him, and Shingo's doing his boom, 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 boom series of elbows, which I really like. It's like the rapid fire elbows to the face. and he goes for his lariat. But rather than like sit there and take it like a normal wrestler would, Jay White just plops down and sits down and starts laughing because he did it on purpose. And Shingo just stops and he's like, fuck. And then he just goes and he runs. It is a sliding lariat. Like something like that. It was little. But I loved it because it's just that tiny bit of detail. Also, the added detail in here was Jay White working over the back of Shingo Takagi, which Shingo was selling pretty well throughout the match. There were spots where he would get slammed and he would clutch the back like you're supposed to do. But then there would be spots in here where Shingo would like do a scoop slam or something, and he would be, really arching in the back. And it told that story of as Jay White's tearing apart this back, it would make it harder for Shingo to get him up for the last of the dragon, which takes a lot of core strength when you're hosting a pointed up on your fireman's carry position. And even though I didn't really like the fact that Shingo ended up hitting it later on, because I felt like it would have been better if he didn't hit it at all, or just wasn't capable of it. He went for the last of the dragon, but Jay White pulls in the referee. The referee goes down because red shoes and every referee in Japan is just incapable of going through a match without getting knocked down. It's just the fact of the matter. And referee gets down. Jay White, he gets Geto to distract Shingo. Shingo gets down Geto. Jay White Nakamura's him. Straight up Nakamura Ichiban low blows. Shingo Takagi, that's basically the end of the match right there. He hits a Regoplex. Shingo kicks out of 2, hits a lifting DDT, follows that up with a Blade Runner, and gets the pin. Jay White winning this match. Even though I'm not a fan of Jay White trying to go through G1 with cheating victories like he did in G128, and I would say mostly through G129, I did like this match thoroughly. I did think it was really good. I thought that everything in here played up really well, and I would say, probably looking at it now, it is the best match of the night, which is a weird thing when you think about what the main event is that I'm going to talk about next up, and that is Kazuchika Okada versus Kota Ibushi. So, this was a match that happened, and I hate to say that because coming from me, a guy who really got into New Japan because of Kota Ibushi, was introduced through New Japan with Okada. Always thought that they would have a dream match, even though I never knew that they had a match in 2015. Always thought they would have a dream match. They had their match at G1 Climax last year to determine who gets into the, G1 Climax finals. And it was a great match for all intents and purposes. I thought it was a great match. Then they're going to have that Wrestle Kingdom match this year that I was in the Tokyo Dome for, and what I firmly believe is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen live. It was an amazing, outstanding match. One of the very few matches I would ever rate 5 stars, because if you guys know me, I'm very critical when it comes to giving matches high ratings. I would probably give Okada vs. Ibushi 5 stars, and I hate doing star ratings, but if I had to give a match 5 stars, I'd give Okada and Ibushi at the Tokyo Dome that match. So coming off of that amazing, outstanding match that we saw between Okada and Ibushi, you would think this match may not be a Wrestle Kingdom worthy match, but it would come close to the standards of last year's G1 Climax match. This did none of those things. This wasn't. It wasn't bad. I can't sit here and say this was a bad match, but holy shit, this was kind of boring. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I'm used to the Okada epics where the first 15 minutes are his plunder, chest slap, feel each other out, lockups, I get attacked, I come back a little bit, I get attacked, then I come back, then we going at each other for the last 10 minutes, and then I Rainmaker your ass like 5 times and I win. I'm used to the Okada formula by now. It happens, it works, I buy into it a lot of times, it ends up making some great matches. I don't know what happened here. It's like Okada started following the formula, and by all means, whatever he was following here, he was I will talk about this more in the Chill Pill podcast this Wednesday on YouTube, Tuesday on Paul Bean, and Monday on Patreon. But Okada has been dragging his feet all year since Wrestle Kingdom, and going into G1 Climax, I expected him to really uplift and give me the performance I've been expecting from Okada since his match with Naito on January 5th of this year. We're in September 19th. And I don't know where that Okada is. I don't know if that Okada died at the Wrestle Kingdom, but I don't know who this man is in the ring, but he was going through the motions. It was boring. It was plotting, and then at the point when you expected it to get good, the match basically just ended. I feel like it started getting good, but then like that one good part that you expect to last like 5, sometimes 10, 15 minutes at its best, that part lasted like 3 minutes. It like Ibushi and Okada started giving you the match you wanted to see, but it was so minuscule by the end that you almost kind of coming out of it were like, that's it? That's all we got? Like, what were you test for time? Did you forget the rest of the match? Like, where's the rest of the match at? That's where I came out of this feeling. Where was the rest of this match? I felt like we cut a lot of this match out and then got straight to the end of it. The good part was cut out, and we left all the boring stuff in. So I'm not even gonna go too deep into what happened here because I didn't feel like it was worth it. End of the match. Okada, he thinks he's funny. He's gonna go for the Kamaguya and Ibushi. Ibushi ducks this, hits him with a power bomb, fouls that up with a running knee, hits one Kamaguya and Okada, and gets the pin. So I believe last year it took 2 Kamaguyas to pin Okada. At G1, at Wrestle Kingdom, I think Okada kicked out of both Kamaguyas and he lost. This year took 1 Kamaguya, which isn't very linear or consistent, which is one nitpick I have. But to go from great match to amazing match to whatever the hell this is, this was very disappointing in my opinion. To go into the G1 Climax and you open up with Will Ospreay versus Yujiro Takahashi, and then you end with Okada versus Ibushi, and both of those, in my opinion, being like the worst matches of the block. And like I said, I don't believe any of these matches were bad, but that Okada versus Ibushi match really, really, really disappointed me. And at its best, if you want to be nice, you can call this good, but I would not go that far. I think this was, at best, decent. For the standards of an Okada match, this was bad. For the standards of an Ibushi match, this was mediocre. I don't know what was going on here. I'm not gonna be nice. I'm not gonna be civil. Be like, oh, give them a break. No, that was not good. I didn't like it. Did not like this match. Very disappointed. I'm hoping going into day 3, Jay White will pull something out of Okada we haven't seen in a long time, but I'm not confident in that at this point. That was G1 Climax 30. What did you guys think? Comment down below. Let your boy know. Going into the G1 Climax B block. Coming out of G1 Climax A block, the standings stand at Yujiro Takahashi, Jeff Cobb, Tomohiro, Shingo Takagi, Kota Ibushi with 0, not Kota Ibushi, Kazuchika Okada with 0 points, Will Ospreay, Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, Jay White, and Kota Ibushi with 2 points. So I've got one prediction wrong so far. I thought Okada was going to beat Ibushi tonight, but Ibushi actually pulled out the win, which maybe makes me happy, but what not make me happy was the match itself. So that's that. B block tomorrow I will be reviewing on this channel. Once again, guys, I will not be reviewing this entire G1 Climax on my YouTube channel. Blame TBSIE for basically kicking me off the platform the first time and trying to kick me off this time. I'm now at 2 copyright strikes from these fuckers. So right now, I'm not reviewing the rest of this tournament, just day 1 and day 2. Day 3 and onwards will be reviewed on my Patreon, patreon.com/TylerMask. Shout out to Mason Goldberg for being our first patron on the website. He's going to be getting a lot of that content that's going to be coming very, very soon. As far as doing reviews day to day, it's going to be on Patreon. A collective review of the days coming up will be on Chill Pill Podcast, which once again, Patreon backers will get it on Monday. Podbean and Spotify listeners will get it on Tuesday, and then all my audience on YouTube, like you guys here, will get it on Wednesday. I'm outie. Thank y'all for watching this video. Love you guys always, and I will see you all tomorrow for day 2 of G1 Climax 30. Peace.